Stephanie White is back as Indiana Fever coach. Here's what she said about her return. INBINAPOLS. New Indiana Fever head coach Stephanie White held her reintroductory news conference Monday afternoon at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. White, who is succeeding Christy Sides as the Fever's coach, will return to Indiana after a 2-year stint as Connecticut Sun coach. White has a lot of familiarity with Indiana and the Fever. Team president Kelly Krauskopf drafted White in Indiana's 2000 expansion draft. White was an assistant coach under Lynn Dunn when Indiana won its championship in 2012, and Krauskopf gave White her first head coaching gig with the Fever in 2015. White was the head coach of the Fever from 2015 to 16 before she moved on to become Vanderbilt head coach. Now, she's back in Indianapolis. This is just a really, really special place, special franchise, White said. It's been a part of my DNA from day one and will always continue to be a part of my DNA. Every time I came home, Fever broadcaster Pat Boylan would ask me, every time I came back, what's it feel like when you come back in this building? And every time I said, it feels like home, it feels like home. And that's because it is. I am so incredibly honored, so humbled, so thankful, grateful, and excited to lead this franchise and take it to another level. How family influenced Stephanie White's decision to return to Indiana. White spent the past 2 years in Uncottsville, Con, a location where there were no direct flights from her home base of Nashville, as well as a 1-hour drive after landing. With her kids going to school in Nashville, White barely saw them from when they returned to school until the WNBA season was over. Coaching in Indiana allows White to make the 4-hour drive to see her kids more often and puts her closer to her hometown of West Lebanon End. I'm at the point in my career where, making a decision for one reason or another isn't really good enough anymore, White said. It's got to be about professional opportunity. It's got to be about personal opportunities. And for me, being near my family, and some of them are here today, including my nephew, who I've only seen a few times. So it would be great to see his little cute face more often. And for my children to be able to be around my family even more, it's important. And for those of us who have children, you don't get these years back, right? You don't get this time back. And my family sacrificed a lot of time with my children, and for them to now be able to have them around more often, for me to be closer to home, it was really important. There's always a time in your life where you feel like everything needs to be grounded. Everything needs to be centered so that you can be where your feet are. Stephanie White on Caitlin Clark and Aaliyah Boston. White will enter into a team that boasts the past 1 picks and rookies of the year in Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark. As a center and a point guard, Boston and Clark naturally complement each other. They're both incredibly competitive players, White said. And there's a fire and a mentality that you can't teach when it comes to competitive spirit, and when it comes to being a great teammate, and when it comes to lifting those up around you. Watching both of them grow into not just the players that they are, but grow into the spotlight that they have, how they lead, how they make their teammates better, how they lift one another up, how they handle, all of the things that have come their way, and all of those things that come your way are certainly earned when you're in that position. You put it together, and you've got the point guard at the center, are you kidding me? Like you got the bookends that you want to build around with them, White added. These two are the best, and I think that there's so many things that they do well right now, and you saw the difference from the beginning of the season to the end of the season, and how much better they got with one another, how much they could anticipate what one another was going to do, how they facilitated with one another. But there's so much room for growth. Stephanie White on WNBA's growing popularity. White was a part of the WNBA nearly since its inception, getting drafted to the league in 1999. She remembers the days when the league was first starting and had lackluster facilities and support. Now, arenas are selling out across the country, players are getting better accommodations both in travel and at home, and the league is exploding in a way it has never before.